I've bought well over 100 guitar pedals in the 30 years I've been playing guitar. And I kept buying these pedals thinking that the next one would finally be my sound. But here's the truth, out of the 100, there's only 3 that I use every single day. In today's video, I'm gonna show you what those 3 are, and if you are stuck in a gear rabbit hole, this will help you focus on what actually matters on your pedal board. So let's go. All right, the first pedal that I use every single day is none other than this pedal, the Strymon Iridium. Now, I own real tube amps, I own other amp modelers, I own other amp in a box type pedals, but for whatever reason, this one feels different. And when this pedal came out, honestly, I feel like Strymon made this pedal for me. There is a beauty on how simple it is. There's 3 amps. With those amps, there's 3 cabs, there's no screens, there's no menus, and for me, the less options there are, the more creative I am because I'm not sitting there trying to find tones. I basically plug and play, and you can drop IRs in this thing, but I don't. I use everything stock, and it just sounds so good right out of the box. So let's break down the 3 amp models and how I actually use them. The first amp model in here is the Round, which is a Fender twin reverb style amp. Honestly, this amp is actually the one I use the least. I only really use it on this channel when I'm demoing a pedal and I need a really clean platform amp. And that's the pedal, or that is the amp that I go to. It's simple, it's clean, and when you add reverb either in your DAW or with another pedal, it's convincingly really good. It almost sounds like the real thing. The second amp model on here models my favorite amp of all time, the Vox AC30, and really close to the Vox AC15, which I have numerous videos on this channel on. This pedal lives in chime mode. It's home base for me. And as I mentioned, I've tried and I've owned several amp modelers, and to me, the Strymon Iridium does the Vox AC30 thing the best. It's chimey, it's gritty, the edge of breakup sounds beautiful, and it reacts so similar to the real thing. And what I love about this pedal is the middle tone acts like the tone cut in the real amp, and it's honestly just does the Vox AC30 thing so well. And of course, the third amp on this pedal is the Punch, which is Strymon's take on the Marshall Plexi. The Marshall Plexi sound with an overdrive pedal is my dirty sound. I use this for chugging, I use it for heavy riffs, I use it for chords, you name it, that is my sound, and it sounds phenomenal. And with each amp, you have 3 options for cabs. I don't even know what they are. For the most part, I'm in cab A. So between these 3 amps, it has everything that I need and nothing that I don't. In fact, I love this pedal so much that my last EP, Heartsick with Ian Blackwood, all the guitar tones were recorded with this pedal. I'll have a link down in the descriptions below. Go check out that EP in your car and you're gonna see how huge this pedal sounds. So the Strymon Iridium provides my amp sounds, but the next pedal, well, it provides all my effects. Pedal number 2 that I use every single day, the HX Stomp. Now, I recently got a comment saying, don't call it a pedal, it's a multi-effects. Bro, it's got foot switches, so I'm gonna call it a pedal. You call it whatever you want, okay? Man, what isn't there to say about this pedal? This pedal is literally the MVP of my whole setup for the last 10 years. Literally the best purchase I've made in the last 10 years. And there's 3 reasons why I love the HX Stomp and why I love Line 6 in general. Number 1, this thing sounds incredible. Before I had the Strymon Iridium, this thing actually did everything in my studio. All my amp models were inside this box, and I used the exact same amps. I used the Box AC30, I used a Plexi, I actually used a Friedman and an EVH, but man, this thing sounds phenomenal. But in my opinion, where this really shines is the Line 6 effects are just the best I've ever heard. Delays, reverb, compressors, modulation, you name it, it's all in here. The number 2 reason why this thing is so good is look how small it is. It's so compact for what it can do. I've been a Line 6 user since the original Bean Pod, and I also own the X3, and this pedal gives me that Bean Pod vibe, but with the foot switches, so it's totally more usable. Tiny thing can do everything, effects, amp modelers. It could be a recording interface. You record this straight into your computer and start recording on Logic Pro or Pro Tools. And the number 3 reason why I love this pedal so much and why I love Line 6 products so much, especially their multi-effects type stuff, is it's basically a history lesson in classical music gear that's amazing. When I first bought my Bean Pod, it came with a book, and in that book were all the models of the effects, the amps that they used to model in the Bean Pod, and it had a description of that classic piece of gear, and I just love that history is in this pedal, and I think they were the first to actually do that. And it just taught me a lot about gear and what our heroes used to use back in the day. So how do I use this pedal now that I use a Strymon Iridium for my amp sounds? Well, in the chain, it goes after the Strymon Iridium, and honestly, this pedal does all my delay sounds, all my reverbs, some modulation. If there's ever an amp that I want to try out that's not in here, like the EVH 5150 or the Friedman, I will dial it up in here and just basically turn this pedal off or turn it off on bypass. So that is how I use this pedal. And another super important feature this pedal does, and it does it so well, it's a tuner. Now, even as great as these 2 pedals are, especially together, I still felt like my tone was missing some magic. And this last pedal that I use every single day, well, it provides the magic, it provides the secret sauce. Before we talk about the last pedal, I want to show you guys a couple things that are super important for this rig. Number 1, the pedal board that I use is this one. It is from Donner. I don't know the exact model. They sent me this one from a previous collaboration. I will link it down in the descriptions below. I love the size of this pedal and I love the quality of it. It is approximately, I think, 14 inches by 10, and it's deep, so you can put the power supply underneath and hide it. Speaking of power supply, the power supply that I use for this board is the True Tone C6 Pro. I'll have a picture of it right here. This thing has been so reliable, and when you're using pedals like the Strymon Iridium and the HX Stomp, you're gonna need power supplies are isolated and can draw a lot of, or can supply a lot of juice. And last, I wanna talk about this. I started using a high-end cable. This one was sent out to me to try out by my new friends at Cove Cables. Shout out Scott. Scott hand solders these right here in Vancouver. These are the same cables as the Mogami 2524 and the Nutric plugs. Nutric, is that how you say that? Anyway, premium cable without the premium price tag. Link down in the descriptions below. Thanks again to Scott for sending this out. Third and final pedal I use every single day is none other than the EP Booster. It's tiny, it's simple, and honestly, this could possibly be the best single effect that I've ever bought. The first time I ever used this, I was recording at a recording studio in East Van called Fortissimo Sound. Shout out Doug Fury. And Doug had this on his pedal board. We were tracking guitars, and it was really the first time I was using a Vox AC30. Now with the Vox AC30, of course, there was not enough gain on tap. And when Doug turned this pedal on, it just gave it so much juice, so much body that I friggin' loved it. And I bought one immediately. Now, how do I use this pedal? Well, with the Strymon Iridium, with any of those amp models, if I want some extra juice, I just turn this on. With the Vox AC30, even with this knob turned down low or just at whatever this is, 9 o'clock, it just gives it more body, gives it more bottom end. And when you're doing the edge-like dotted eighth delays, which I love, I use this because it brings up those notes even more. And for the punch model or the plexi, I just basically full send this pedal. You can hear all of that on the Heartsick EP. All the chugging or the punch model, dime, the gain is dime, and this thing is dime, and I'm just sending it full on, and it just sounds huge. And obviously I love overdrive pedals, and I have a number of them now, but I always just come back to the EP booster. In fact, I love this pedal so much. I have a pedal build, not that I'm building it, but I have a builder building me a pedal, and it's gonna be based on this circuit, and you're probably gonna see it on this channel, hopefully fairly soon, but more on that later. But third pedal on my board that I use every single day is the EP booster. Obviously, I own more pedals than I should, but I wanted to show you guys that when you simplify your process and you take options and decisions out, then you are more creative. I've never been more creative than when I decided to go with this rig. Just this year alone, I've released 3 singles, an EP, and an album, and it's because I just removed all distractions and all decision making. That's it. If you want to see the 3 individual pedals that I use the most, I made a video about that. I will link it right here. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.